What if I told you you can use AI to put yourself inside of your favorite video game? That you can go from recording yourself with your iPhone to being in Tekken. Yes, I'm talking about Tekken, the fighting game. Or I guess Tekken if you're Michelle Rodriguez.
Playing like Tekken fighter games.
But seriously though, with just a phone, any old computer, and my girlfriend, I was able to 3D scan both of us and successfully put ourselves into a video game. Not just any video game, but one where we can virtually throw hands and get our faces pummeled in by this old dude. And now that it worked, I want to show people. It's less about the character modding and more about just showing off how useful some of these AI tools can really be. About 2 months ago, I gave into the latest AI hype and made a video looking into some of the cool tools they have available for people to just use and try out. Luma.ai was one I really wanted to try out for myself. It's basically a Nerf production app, which to me is just a better way of photo scanning. The app basically allows you to turn any real-life object into a 3D model for 3D applications with just a video camera. That's it, that's all you need, which includes your phone. It was surprisingly easy to do. Just download the Luma app, record the object from all of these different angles, and you have your 3D model. You're done. That's it. And the internet took no time to make some really cool things with just this technology. But it got me thinking, what other use cases can Luma actually do other than just cinematic fly-through shots? And so began this Tekken AI experiment. In the first video in a series of videos I'll be doing this summer, exploring real-world applications of this AI tech. Because I'm not gonna hold you, modern AI tech is insane. And right now I wanna show you how you can use Luma.ai to put yourself into one of the world's most popular video games, Tekken 7. Now, before I show you, I wanna preface this. This isn't a video tutorial. I'm mainly just gonna go over how I scanned myself and my girlfriend, and a bit of what went into modding myself into the game. But it's more of an overview, not a step-by-step tutorial. And trust me, getting from scanning yourself in an empty parking lot to being in Tekken is not a fast or easy process. In fact, the Tekken Modding Guide I referenced even warns you at the beginning. It took me 3 weeks to figure all of this out from beginning to end, but I eventually did, and it's definitely possible starting from ground zero. So if anybody wants a deeper dive or a step-by-step on how to do this, just leave a comment below. I've recorded myself throughout this entire experiment and can actually make a video tutorial going over the steps and exact details and even the troubleshooting I had to go through to mod me and my girlfriend into this 8-year-old game. Just let me know. But now I'm gonna show you how I modded me and my girlfriend into Tekken 7. Now, very first step is to turn yourself into a 3D character. And with the help of Luma.ai, it's as easy as just going outside and recording yourself with your phone. Or rather, getting your girlfriend to help you. To get the scanning, download the Luma.ai app from the App Store. It's free, I promise. Once you open it, click the plus button on the bottom to get the scanning, which is actually relatively easy, but I'll still break it down. There are 3 ways to scan, and I wanted to take the opportunity with this experiment to try every single method to compare and contrast them all. You can either scan freely with freeform, scan with guides with the guided method, or you can simply upload a video, either directly from your phone or if you use a DSLR or other camera through their website. Here's the basic premise of scanning though. What you want to do is orbit around your subject at least 3 times at 3 elevation levels: eye level, low angle, and high angle, all while keeping your camera pointed at the subject. Make sure you go nice and slow, because any motion blur in your scan can deter the resulting quality. So, we went outside into an empty parking lot to get our scans. With the nice sunny day that was there, we had a lot of light, and honestly the shadows we had weren't too harsh to mess anything up, so the day was perfect. We did a few scans on each other just to play around with the different scanning methods, and because we had free time, honestly, it was a Saturday. We each did 2 full body scans, and then later we went back to that same parking lot just to scan our faces. So for the first scan, I scanned Yvonne using the guided method, which I got through pretty easily. Not gonna lie, but I'll dive into it since most of the other scanning methods have this same basic scanning premise. So you have your subject standing still in a specific spot. We had our arms out in a T pose, or I guess for us more like an A pose, because lifting your arms for 5 minutes straight actually sucks. My arms hurt. During the entire scan though, It's important your subject doesn't move much. Point your camera at your subject, tap on the screen, move to the back of your subject, and then tap on the screen again. I assume this step calibrates your environment 3D spacing. Next, a virtual box will pop up in which you want to move the arrows to trap your subject inside. Here's a small tip though. Don't be afraid to look at your object from different angles on this step, like the side and the front, to actually make sure your box is encapsulating your subject entirely. Hit the confirm button, you'll see 3 purple lines come up that will orbit your subject at the 3 elevation levels I mentioned earlier. That's when you know you're ready to start scanning, which the game here is basically to just go around your subject and fill in those purple lines, then they'll fill in blue. Because as you go around, you'll feel your phone make small buzzes telling you the app is taking pictures. There's a completion counter on the bottom right to show how close you are to actually getting a complete scan too. So loop around, get high, get low, get on that ground, and get that counter to 100 because it'll start saving when you're actually done. Click upload to send it to the Luma servers for it to start processing your 3D nerf, and that's it, you're done. You should have your nerf in 15 to 20 minutes. It took me about 4 minutes to scan her with this method. It was pretty quick and easy for me personally. Scanning with this method is pretty straightforward and in retrospect actually led to one of the better results in the end. Although when Yvonne tried scanning me with the guided method, she was having trouble lining me up in the box, as it would either get mistracked in the 3D AR space or purple guidelines would just be funky afterwards. But I'll also say this experiment was her first time using the Luma app or even really messing with anything 3D, as I've been messing with Luma for about 2 months now, not to mention I'm actually a professional 3D artist. So I'm sure that expertise actually helped here. But the guided method wasn't working for her at all. So I just had her scan me using the freeform method. And with this method, there are no guides, but the same scanning concept applies. Just slowly orbit around your object about 3 times at the 3 elevation levels. That's it. The scanning is essentially the same. There's just no guidelines to help you this time. You just scan as you please. There's a finish button on the top right that fills up as you scan, and whenever it has enough pictures, it turns green when it's finished. You press that, upload it, and you're done. Another tip here though, you do want to keep the same distance from your object as you orbit around them. It doesn't need to be exact though, but during one of my scans, I actually asked her to close in on my face and do an orbit around my face to see if it would capture any extra detail in the resulting nerf. This concept is kind of on the right track, which is why we later just did face scans, but to include the face scan in the full body recording doesn't work. It actually just makes the nerf worse at the end, so quick tip, don't do that. For our third scan, this was Yvonne's last body scan. We just decided to try out the upload option of the scanning. The same scanning principle applies, it's just you're just not stuck with using the app in your phone this time. So I whipped out my 4K Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera and decided to just film a clip of her on that. Again, 3 orbits around her at 3 elevations, and that's it. I was curious if using a dedicated camera instead of a phone would produce a higher quality scan. In reality, all I did was add extra steps, I'm not gonna lie. The cons with my particular DSLR is that it doesn't have a built-in image stabilizer, and the color profile by default is just super flat out of the box. I took that clip, fixed the color in post, and then warp stabilized it. Trimmed it a bit, exported that out, and uploaded it, and that was it for that scan. And as I mentioned before, we went back to that parking lot to get scans of just our faces. She scanned me through the app the same way, but I decided to try snapping a bunch of raw photos of her instead and uploading that as an archive file to see if that actually affects quality. Once you have all your scans done, you upload them, wait a bit, and then you're done. You can go ahead and download them. So hit that download button and download that high poly OBJ. And when you import it into Blender, these are the results. And honestly, for coming from an iPhone video, turned out pretty okay. I'd say Luma got 60% of the way there from where I want it to be, but you can probably see these aren't even close to being perfect. My first scan got good body structure, but the arms are busted. My second scan has better arms, but what the f happened to my head? Yvonne's first scan was actually great, I'm not gonna lie. It's just the face looks like a PS2 background character, but at least it's there. And her Blackmagic scan, despite being graded and recorded with what I think is a better camera than my phone, came out desaturated and blurry. So another tip, I recommend just using your phone for these scans because it's convenient and apparently has better quality. Who knew? So there they are. Those are our scans. That's us in 3D in Blender. Now I can try to mod these into the game just like this, but in my opinion, these could use some cleanup, I'm not gonna lie. So that's exactly what I did. And honestly, this cleanup step took the most amount of time out of everything in this experiment. I took the best parts of each of our scans and just Frankensteined them into one. So I used the body for my first scan, and then I stitched in my face scan. For Yvonne, I stitched together her first and her face scan, and that was it for her. For both of our arms, I just used a free arm model from CG Trader to replace our arms with a more detailed one, especially since AI apparently sucks with generating fingers, and with this experiment, this was no exception. I patched up some of the missing geometry, painted over some mistextured parts, remodeled my glasses because Luma just hates scanning glass, and then bam! I had my cleaned up models ready to be modded into Tekken. Now, out of all of what I did in this experiment, this part was probably the most complicated and annoying to do. To actually put our 3D scans of ourselves in Tekken not only took a lot of troubleshooting and Googling, but also a lot of patience and time. I did all that troubleshooting for what? For that, bro? Oh my god. It took me a majority of the 3 weeks I spent on this to get it all finished, set it, and done. But once you get everything downloaded, set up, and successfully modded once, the process becomes way more straightforward. Again, I won't go over the exact details or step-by-step in this video. This will just be a quick overview of some of the steps. Otherwise, this video would literally be an hour long. But if anyone is interested in a more comprehensive video guide, let me know. For now, I'll just put a side-by-side with the modding guide I followed and quickly summarize the entire process. First, I had to download the 2015 version of Visual Studio, which the Tekken Guide provides a link to. It has some of the C++ tools we need, apparently. I ran into an error though, saying it hates how I have a more up-to-date version of this. But that error really doesn't matter, I just ignored it and everything worked fine. Tekken runs on Unreal Engine 4, which shows you how old it actually is because we're on 5 and Tekken 8 is actually just around the corner. So I had to download a slightly altered version of the engine, again provided by the modding community and the guide I followed, in order to actually mod this game, which wasn't just a matter of hitting download as you would think. Following the guide, I had to install it in some sort of unique ass way because of some binaries or something like that. I think it combines a bunch of different versions of Unreal Engine 4. Something like that. Then when I had that running, I went and grabbed a Tekken specific Unreal project the community had for actually modding the game. So I grabbed that, opened it, and found out, oh, for whatever reason, Unreal would just shit the bed after being open for 1 minute. Legitimately, I had no idea why. It would just crash and disappear after literally 60 seconds. Then I troubleshooted and searched up through the Discord, and this led me to this video, which basically just said, hey David, just change your PC environment. But what the fuck does that even mean? But hey, I just did it and it worked. So moving on. Then I had to use this tool called UModel to rip the Tekken skin I wanted to replace from the game. And I always thought Lars kind of looked out of place in a monkey suit, so I chose that one. That's not actually the reason, he's just the only character I know how to play. Ah, there it is. Let me rip that real quick. And then I had to go back into Blender, but oh, not just any Blender, but Blender 2.9. Isn't this like 4 years old? But still following the guide, I had to go into the text file in Blender and modify that with some hashtags. So I did. Okay, so now I'm actually in Blender. That took some time. I imported both the Tekken monkey suit and myself, and now it was time to line them up and start the swapping process. Match my model with the Tekken model, which meant I had to rig my model first. So I lowered the poly count first because the auto riggers need a low poly count, and Luma gave us like 1 million polygons or something like that, so that's no good. So lower that down. I baked all the textures into one, which Luma textured it using 200 different maps of blobs. Like what the which, another tip, you actually have to bake all 200 textures into one because Unreal Engine only really takes one diffuse map texture. So I just followed this method in this video to combine all the textures into one. Then I used something called AccuRig, or I mean Mixamo, I used both, to give it a rig. Then brought that rig back into Blender. Okay, now I can move on with lining up the models. I transferred the weights and the armature from the Tekken model to my model using this method. I delete the old bones and the Tekken suit and export the new combination of the Tekken bones in my model with some specific FBX export settings specified by the guide. I went into the Tekken Unreal file, added some folders, imported my rigged 3D scan and its baked texture, applied it to one of the Tekken materials, applied that to my model. There I am, finally in Unreal, striking the infamous T-pose. Now, it's time to cook.
Let him
Apparently that's supposed to happen. Then I packed it using some coded command, again provided by the community. Made a modding folder in the actual Tekken files in Steam, put my custom mod package in there, and then that's it, finally. You should be in Tekken, right?
Oh my god!
God damn. the fuck happened? Okay, so it's obviously trash. But for a first attempt, not bad. First of all, I don't know what the fuck is with the scaly ass skin. I actually have no idea why that is.
What the f?
Yeah, you see?
You look like you have scales, and you look like your ball sack has a web on it.
I know. Okay, let me try that again. Okay, I mean, I guess that's a little better. What does Yvonne look like? Oh, okay. Cool, okay. I mean, we're in the game. Now it's time to hop on Discord and show some of my friends.
Get a week. No fucking way. No fucking way. It's not even the face. It's the fact that his actual outfit, his shoes, his pants, everything.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, the fingers are fucked up. What is that? Oh, that's so gross.
Oh my god, what the hell? You look like the lizard dude from Spider-Man. Dude, that's crazy. Oh my god.
Now look who it is.
Dude, this is so ugly.
It's so ugly, but it fucking worked.
Honestly, this is kind of funny. This is so funny.
That's what I'm fucking saying. It makes me look like a Tekken character from like 1995. Does this give you PTSD?
Yes. How long did it take you to do it?
Like 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
And more importantly, it's actually time to show Yvonne herself. So crazy. But it worked.
Your hair looks like this. No, no, I'm gonna cringe so bad. Oh my god, no, what the fuck is that?
It's you.
Who is she? That's not me.
Yeah, it is.
Why do I look so bad?
Look, it's you.
My booty looks like 3 booties. Like, you know, like I have like 3 butt cheeks.
Look, you can do that. Can you do that? Can you do that in real life?
No. I wish you choose me.
Oh,
so
we
you
can.
win.
I mean, we could switch.
Yes. Oh my god. Oh my god. No. Wait. Let me figure out how to play. Hold on. Give me
No,
a
that's
second.
you. That's not me.
I don't know what. Oh, I'm you?
Yeah, you said you wanted
yeah, I
to switch.
forgot.
See the best part. Watch. Now look at your model. Do you see it?
Fancy.
It's just business.
So how do you feel now that you saw yourself?
I'm cringing right now. But it was fun. I think it is fun.
So yeah, we're in the game, fighting and getting our faces pummeled by each other and some other Tekken favorites. But with this, I would deem this AI experiment a success. It is indeed possible to use AI to put yourself in a video game now. So what are my closing thoughts? Even though I do think this has proven the video game use case for Luma.ai, I hate to say it, I really do. But with the results I got, I don't think it's worth it. At least specifically for Tekken 7. I do genuinely think you can get better results by either 3D modeling yourself from scratch, which takes a lot of expertise and skill, or just using the character customizer already in the game. I mean, to be honest, a lot of the modern video games already have really good character creators you can just make yourself in. Either one of those methods would definitely be better quality. But the thing is, the 3D model from Luma to Blender actually was pretty accurate to real life. You know, with some cleanup, I was really happy with how the scans actually turned out. It's just when actually modding yourself from Blender to the Tekken game, that's where some weird translation comes in and it makes us just look like crusty PS2 characters at the end of the day. But this was just low stress fun. It was just an experiment I just wanted to use to explore what AI can really help with. Turning yourself into a 3D character is actually super possible now and free. And with that concept, I think AI is truly amazing. And I'm sure anybody out there can make this experiment even better than what I did. You guys can do a better job. So if you're up for the challenge, I encourage you to try this out for yourself and put yourself inside your favorite video game. I was gonna do Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but Nintendo would definitely murk my ass, so I'm just not gonna do that. But that's all I have. It was fun. Thank you to my lovely girlfriend Yvonne for helping me out with this. She was phenomenal. I think my next AI experiment is going to be to figure out how I can 3D scan an entire DC museum. I don't even know if that's possible, but I'll tell you in a month. But that's all I got. See you next time.